So now that you have your notebooks and your video notes accounts set up, you're ready to begin using those resources in recording what you learn as you continue when we start Unit 2 and the serious material of the course coming up. And I want to remind you, when we do begin Unit 2, you're going to want to pay attention to the requirement to post to the course resources discussion board. And I gave you the option to try that out for Unit 1, so you may still want to do that, but I'm not going to be grading for Unit 1. I will, however, start grading in Unit 2. Just a reminder that you should use all of the conventions for posting in a discussion board, especially making sure that the link is accessible and that you make clear where you got your material from, and that you give us a little bit of a preview or an insight through both the title that you use to post and through a little blurb explaining why this was a helpful piece of information, and that you try to avoid overlap as much as possible. I wanted to give you a little bit of insight into my expectations for keeping your notebook and making your notebook a useful tool. So I'm going to show you some examples of notebooks from the past that have been really useful to the students using them. Last year I had some students who used Evernote, and although no one's using Evernote this year, you can still do many of the same things in your Google Drive folder. So I recommend using a folder and then keeping different documents for different parts of the course, and that will help you find what you need when you need to find it, and keep everything organized. So you can see that this student has done things like highlight. In particular, useful to her, she kept the links of the sources so that if she wanted to go back and get more information, she could easily do that, and she was also keeping a documentation trail of where she got her information. So this was a very full set of notes, and that's just for what she got from the material as she was learning. Another place that you can get your notes is from the quizzes, and I really recommend that you keep track of what you learn through the quizzes, because they are learning tools as much as any of the information that you get from the content. And so to give you a couple of ways that you can keep information from quizzes, you can very simply, in your Google document, you'll recognize quiz 2.1. Just keep track of the answers that were correct in the questions, and that just keeps a record of the content from the quiz. Another thing that you can do, and this may be a little bit easier for some people who need the visual layout or a record, is this was simply screen capturing and then pasting the screen captures directly into a Google document. And one of the really useful tools that you can do is, let's say you get a question wrong. So you can see here that in this case it was only 1.66 whatever out of 5 points. You can highlight that for yourself. So the way I did that here was I used image options, which pulls up lots of different options for coloring that image, and then that makes it stand out. So use some tools, and then you can go back and figure out why you got that wrong, and then you can correct it. And then obviously you would want to keep your updated information, and maybe keep some notes on what you didn't understand, so that you can make sure that you're better informing yourself as you go forward, or asking a question of me. You can use the comment feature to do that, whatever it is that you need to do. So again, you can always compare your results to some of the things that you see in the quiz. Sometimes you will get the answer given to you, and other times you will not. So you want to make sure that you're, again, filling in that information by continuing your learning or asking a question. So hopefully this gives you some insight into how you can use your notebook, and your notebook can be useful to you, and get started collecting your notes. We'll be starting with Unit 2 after the long weekend Thanksgiving.